everyone. I'm Kat Carley from the Hub Austin.
And I'm Brenda Laurent from Reach for Success.
And together we are
Mama Cat and Gigi.
And today we're going to be talking about easy math tips for schooling at home. So some of you may be in a situation where you've been homeschooling all year and you might just need some fresh ideas. And some of you may be schooling at home for the first time. So we wanted to talk about some of our favorite things that we use around the house to help with math.
So we like to reward our kids with coins. And so we just have a whole bunch of nickels and dimes and pennies and quarters, right? And so we are constantly saying to our kids, okay, well, you did this thing, thanks so much, I'm going to reward you with a quarter or with a nickel or with a dime or 6 pennies or whatever, right? So that we're constantly saying back to them, well, now how much do you have? Can you count those coins? And it's amazing to me, our first graders now are counting, telling you how much change you should get back from your 20. It's a really easy thing to reinforce with.
And we actually do this in our pre-K class, and they already understand the value of a penny, a nickel, a dime, and we're working on a quarter. So, you can really start on this way earlier than people think you can, and it's a really, really great way for them to start understanding the concept of money.
Absolutely, and it should be concrete, right? So how many do you have? What's it worth? What would it buy? Those are all things that we struggle with even as adults. So the more we can train that at home, the better off we are.
And staying in a budget. This is something that adults struggle with sometimes. So starting it on a really small scale for your kids helps them understand how money works as they get bigger. So if they really want that toy, well, they need to save up for it. How much do they need? What's the tax going to be?
So, and it's an easy thing to incorporate all day long. Just put it in your pocket and keep going, right? Time is another one. So, how much time do we have before we get to do this or before this is over, right? So time is another easy one.
I mean, kids all day long, especially if you've been schooling at home with them, they're going, how much longer? How much longer till we get to the end of this? How long do I have to do this? And when you teach them the concept of time, guess what? You can start telling them, well, you tell me.
That's right, absolutely. Another thing you can do with time is, how many things can we do in a minute? How many people actually know how long a minute is? That's a mystery to a lot of children. So I have my kids put their heads down, right, or close their eyes, and I say, when you think a minute is up, then open your eyes, and I'll tell you exactly how close you were. We'll see who got the closest to a minute. And then we're going to think about all the things that we could do in a minute. Could we brush our teeth? Could we go put on our shoes? Could we run outside? What could we do in 1 minute? There's a lot going on with the coronavirus right now, so we want to say, how much longer can we not be with our friends? Well, let's look on the calendar. We're going to look at the calendar every day, and we're going to put stickers on what day it is. I also say to kids, well, what was yesterday? Do we know all of our days of the week, right? These are opportunities for us to be able to teach these things and reinforce them, and so that they'll really stick day after day while we have them at home.
And it also really helps kids to know what day of the week it is, because we don't have our regular normal activities to say, oh, it's gymnastics day, it must be Thursday. So that kind of helps kids know, okay, where are we in the week, and how long are all of these things going to be going, not going on.
Absolutely. What day would tomorrow be? Oh, when we get to tomorrow, then it's today. So these are all concepts that we take for granted as adults, but
and another thing that I like to do is basic adding and subtraction. You can start with this with your kids as early as 2 or 3. I do it in our pre-K co-op all the time. And I'm always amazed how much they can actually do. So I've got these little math bear manipulatives, and I just give them a certain set amount. Like, let's say right now I have 5. And then I say, oh, well, what would happen if you got 2 more? And then they have something to physically count. And then I say, oh, well, then a robber came and, he stole these 5. How many are left? And they have something concrete in order to be able to count. So it's a really good way to teach basic addition and subtraction to your little kids.
You know what else you're teaching with that, Mama Cat? You're teaching story problems. Ooh, the dreaded story problems,
scary.
right? Yeah, but it's our everyday life. That's what story problems really should be, right? How about measuring things? Oh, we love to get out the tape measure. This will entertain everybody for a good 30 or 45 minutes, right? We love to measure how long your foot is.
How long your foot is compared to somebody else's foot in your family. It's a good way to start talking about, oh, this is this much bigger or this much smaller than the other thing.
Yeah, greater than or less than. I love that.
And we also like to measure in the kitchen. So if you're not used to cooking with your kids, it is a little bit different than cooking by yourself. It can definitely get messier. But if you just kind of embrace a little bit of that chaos, it's such a good thing for kids to do. As we were referencing in another one of our videos, it really helps them feel more included. It may increase their flexibility with what they're eating because they've been part of that cooking process. And it also helps them to measure.
Absolutely. Gives them some sense of what is a half a cup, right?
Yeah, what does that even mean? And if you've enjoyed our video, feel free to comment, like it, and share it with your friends. Thanks so much.